All right, so in this video, we'll get the player actually moving around. He won't be animating yet, but we'll do that in the video to follow. So in our hero character, let's go to the event graph and we'll finally do our first piece of programming. And it's gonna be really simple. So in the project settings here, if you go to input, the third person template already comes with these action mappings and axis mappings. I'm gonna delete this reset VR because we're not using VR, so that gets deleted. But I'll keep these here. And then jump is just assigned to the space bar and all these other controls here. You can go ahead and delete all these controls if you want, but I'll leave them for now. I do want our game here to work with the gamepad eventually, but we'll get to that later. But for the most part, the gamepad does have controls set up here. So anyway, we will use these in our player. So if you come to the hero character here, let's start with our mouse input. So just type in turn, and you get this axis event turn right here. So this turn, and if you type in look up, these are going to be for the mouse, for looking around. So really simply what we can do is just type in add controller yaw input like this, connect these up, and then for the lookup rate, this one's going to be pitch. So type in add controller and you get pitch input here. And that's, for now, this is all we'll do for the mouse look. Eventually we'll have some more, we're gonna have some booleans which can check if the player can move or not. For example, if the player is dead, we don't want him to be able to move. So we'll add some checks here later for that. But for now, we'll just keep it simple. Okay, so for the keyboard movement, what we want to do is just right click, type in move forward. You get this input axis, move forward. And then just right click, type in add movement input. So now you get this add movement input function. Just plug this in, plug in the axis value as well. And then now type in move right, get the move right up here. And with this function selected, press Control W. And now you get a really easy way to just copy and paste things in Blueprint. So now what we want to do is get the world direction for these two movement inputs. So the way we do that for this type of game is right click, type in get control rotation. You get this guy. And what we want to do with our character is if I drag our character into the world, when we're moving around in the world, we only want to rotate around this Z axis here. We don't want to rotate around the X and the Y. We just want to be able to rotate around Z. So what we do with the control rotation here is we can drag off this and type in break. We can break the rotation here. So like I said, we only want to rotate off the Z here. So drag off the Z, type in make. You get make rotator. And holding down control, you can now move this around. Just plug it into the Z there. So like I said, we're just rotating around the Z. The X and the Y, we don't want to rotate around. So we just leave these as 0. And now for the move forward, this is our forward vector. So off of this, you can type in get forward vector. You get this. And now this will plug into here. And then for our right, we can type in get right vector. And this plugs into the world direction here. And what this setup does is it gives us the same movement as like a Dark Souls game. You can just like look around and move at whichever direction you're moving with on the keyboard, right? And you can move the mouse around and stuff like that. So you'll see once we set up the animation blueprint in the next video, the movement will make a lot more sense. So that's the basic movement here. Again, we'll come back and make more edits to this. Like we'll add some booleans, make sure the player's allowed to move. But for now, let's select all this, press C, and I'm just going to comment it and say movement. And compile and save. And in the next video, we will set up the animation blueprint and make the movement look pretty decent. So I will see you then.